Hey everybody, my name's Daryl Obert. Welcome back to Maya Mondays. So today we're going to be talking about image-based lighting inside of Maya 2015 and some improvements that have been made to it. I'm actually redoing this video because I got some really great comments from my new friend Ludwig, and I wanted to get that data out to you guys. So if you saw the first version of this video, this second version actually has his comments implemented into it, and I think it definitely helps and is certainly the way to approach this moving forward. So what I'm going to do is show you the legacy way of doing it and then show you the improved workflow that Maya 2015 brings to the table. So the first thing we're going to do is just jump up to our render settings and start enabling our image-based lighting. So we'll go to the indirect tab and click on the image-based lighting node. You can see I have Final Gather turned on, and I really want this image-based lighting node to be the main driver of the lighting model in our scene. So we're going to go back to our Common tab and make sure that we turn off the default light. So the only light that's going to be essentially coming from our light that's tied, or our image map that's tied into our image-based lighting node. So with that done, we can go ahead and browse out to our image here, and essentially this is what we're going to be doing. So it's a relatively high contrast map. It's got a really bright sun, and then obviously blue sky and clouds. And we're going to be grabbing this high-res version of it that's a high dynamic range image, and we'll pipe that into our image-based lighting node and just go ahead and launch a render. So this is what you would get previously inside of Maya, and obviously it doesn't look good at all. So you can see that there's some pretty drastic problems with the image-based lighting where the Final Gather rays are trying to sample that high contrast map, and they kind of get this really weird splotchy effect. And the traditional workaround for this would be to basically let the image-based, the Final Gather rays touch a different map and use a smaller version that's been blurred so that you can get a nice smooth gradient in that kind of Final Gather. So I'll walk you through that process, and we'll save the image out so that we can see the improvement that 2015 brings to the table. So to have the Final Gather rays basically sample a different map, we're going to use a ray switch node, which is part of the production shaders that Mental Ray has. And by default, those are hidden inside of Maya, so I'm just going to use the create node command to create the MIP_ray switch node. And with that done, we're going to go ahead and just grab this image file, and we're going to pipe that into this ray switch node, into the Final Gather, into all the rays except the Final Gather ray. So we're using the same path here to get that high resolution map. And if we go ahead and graph our input outputs on this guy, we can grab this ray switch node and just shove this file into everything except the Final Gather file, which we're going to use a slightly modified version of that file or of that image that's going to be very low resolution and extremely blurred. So with that done, we can just go ahead and duplicate this guy and jump back here and grab this small version of it that's also been blurred. So you can see the effect of that. It's also worth mentioning, since we're working with linear files here, we want to switch our default color profile to linear for these guys. Pretty straightforward. And we'll shove this new file into the Final Gather rays. So now we can go back to our image-based lighting node, and instead of having the image file be the input, we'll just switch this over to a texture. And with that done, we can drag and drop our map into that guy and re-render this. So this is going to look better, but it's going to clean up the gradient, or the interpolation. So this is going to look better. Obviously the Final Gather is going to be much smoother now, but it's still not really giving me an accurate representation of what the lighting model in this scene should look like. This kind of high contrast map is really getting blurred out in the Final Gather sense. In the lighting model here, we're getting these very soft shadows. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the improvements that have been made in 2015 with the emit light command to basically get to something that is much better. So this kind of new workflow would be the way to go if you want to work with high contrast images and Final Gather. So let's go ahead and save this image out, and we'll switch back to using our full resolution image, or just a standard high dynamic range image, and we'll turn emit light on, and we can crank the quality up a little bit higher so it's a little less grainy, and we'll just render this out one last time. So as you can see, with the new and improved workflow in 2015, not only is it much easier to set up because we don't have to use a ray switch node, all we have to do is turn on emit light, we also get much better quality in results. We're getting these really nice hard shadows from that image-based lighting probe, where with the legacy workflow that was obviously a lot more complicated, we really weren't accurately representing that lighting model, and you can really get a good sense of the improvements that we've had from basically 2014 to 2015, both in the terms of workflow and image quality being accurately represented. So thanks again for watching Maya Mondays, and one more thanks you shout out to Ludwig for his tips and tricks on this also. Please check out the other Maya Mondays videos I've posted. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully they're of value to you guys. Thanks again, everyone. Cheers.